Hi, I'm Justin Morgan, and this is my channel. And I was recently asked a question through a message, and I thought it was a very good question. It was a guy that said he had recently transitioned to becoming a vegan, and he had been made fun of by his friends, and they said he looked weird now, and he said that he actually was getting weaker, and was just asking if I had any advice about transitioning. And I did, and I think that there was some good points that should be kept in mind when doing a transition like that. And here they are. One, and those points are, one is about your friends, but there are 5 general guidelines that I actually think everyone should keep in mind. And one is to just have faith in what you're doing, and that can, I'll explain that a little bit more in a minute. 2 is to have realistic expectations. Follow a good weightlifting program, if whether that be for strength gains or whether you're trying to lower your body fat, whatever it is, follow a good program, something that makes sense, something that has been tried and worked in the past. And 4 is to eat an adequate amount of calories. Eat an amount of calories that is conducive to whatever your goals are. And the last one is keep a training log. Now, just to talk briefly about each of those, one is have faith. Look at people that have been successful in the past. Look at, there are a lot of vegan athletes. You can just Google vegan athletes. You can look at, and they come from all different forms, whether they be endurance athletics or strength athletics. And if they can be successful within the realm of the standard of the sport that they compete in, then you can too as a vegan. And I think it's just important to keep that in mind. Now, in terms of your friends and the people that you're hanging around, I know a lot of people, when I first became a vegan, they had never paid attention nor cared about me until I became a vegan, and suddenly it's, oh, well, do you have dark circles under your eyes? Or your hair looks like it's getting thin, and all these things. Like, you know what? I'm 31 years old. I started losing my hair when I was in my late teens, and I don't think it's regressed all that much. It's come back a little bit. Or my forehead's gotten a little bit larger in the last 15 years, but I don't think I'm doing too bad. And there's a lot of meat eaters that are 31 years old and have lost a lot more hair than I have. But it's just important to take that with a grain of salt. And also remember that as you're transitioning, your body's going through a lot of changes, and you may actually look a little off some days. You just made a huge change, and that could happen with any kind of large dietary change. So, maybe you do actually just look a little off some days. That's completely fair and to be expected. But in terms of strength training, back to that, have realistic expectations. I don't think, I've seen a lot of information on this, and I don't think it's unattainable to train for a year and get your deadlift up to 400 pounds, to get your bench press up to 225 pounds for reps, and to get your squat up to around 300 pounds. Those seem like entirely realistic expectations if you are following a good program. And I will come back to that in a minute. Well, actually, no, let's go to that now. If you're following a good program, there are different types of splits. You can follow the bro split, where you're doing chest on Mondays, legs on Tuesday, say shoulders on Wednesday, back on Thursday, and arms on Friday. I don't know, something like that. And lots of people like that and get results on that. If your goal is to get really strong, I do not think that is the most ideal program to try to follow. I personally do not like programs like that. I followed something very similar to that for the first 6 months that I was weight training, and I I only was able to work out 2 days a week, though. So I lifted weights for 2 days a week, and I did calisthenics on a third day a week. And I did not see very many increases in a lot of areas. I started to look good, or look better anyways, look bigger, which was my goal. And that was all fine and well. And I did get stronger, but I think I could have done a lot better if I would have followed more of like a full body routine where I'm squatting 3 times a week and just doing things like the stronglifts.com 5x5 program recommends, or there are many other 5x5 programs that all are very effective. If strength is your goal, I would follow a program that is based around strength. There's strong lifts, there's starting strength. I think Jason Blaha over at Ice Cream Fitness has a beginner weight training program. And beginner, don't take offense to that word. Beginner just means that you can make linear progression, that every time you go and work out, you can see progress, and that's a good place to be in. You could be bench pressing 225 pounds and squatting, 350, 400, but if you could be deadlifting well over 500 pounds, but if you're making weekly gains, then you would still be in a beginner area there. So, follow a good program. The next is eat enough calories. Eat an adequate amount of calories for where you're at. I eat about 4,000 calories a day. When I was 175 pounds, I probably didn't need to eat that many calories. I probably don't need to eat that many calories every day right now, but I like to, so that's what I do. And I don't seem to be getting too bad results. I'm not putting on weight too quickly. And I enjoy that. I have fun doing that. It's very satisfying. And 4,000 is a good number. Some days I eat 41 or 4,200. Some days I only make it to around 3,500 and just don't feel like eating anymore. And I don't really care. So, eat an adequate amount of calories for your goals. And the last thing I would recommend is keep a training log. I actually brought my training log in from the car. I always keep it in my car, in my gym bag. I have, a various amount of tools that I keep in my gym bag for weightlifting and other things. And I don't know if you can see it, but I have these things. I separate my days by these lines, and I just, there are page after page here of different workouts that I've done, and I track the numbers every time I do a workout. And I always know, next time I go to the gym, I know what my goals for that day are, and I'd go balls to the wall to try to meet each of those goals. If you're serious about training, then you will have a training log. If training is just something, if you just go there to work out and you're not going to train to be stronger, then that's different. Just go do your strength training or strength workout and do your thing and go home. You'll be healthy, you'll be strong. But if being really strong, if gaining lots of strength is your goal, then you will have a workout, or you will have a workout log, or you're just wasting your time. And I don't really have a whole lot more to say about that. Even if you follow a bad program, a training log will benefit you. So, take what people say with a grain of salt, but, look at yourself and decide if it's true, and, find out why that is. There's no nutrient that you should be missing on a vegan diet, and there are some to keep in mind. Vitamin D, if you live in a cold climate and you're not out in the sun, you might take a supplement for that. There's differing information. I don't want to be I'm not an expert in that area. I don't want to be the one to say you should or should not do something, but for me, during the winter months here in Ohio, I used to live in eastern Kentucky, and now I live I've grown up around Ohio, so we moved here when I was younger. Well, my mom moved here, and my dad lived in eastern Kentucky, so I've gone back and forth, but I've always been in a cold climate during the winters either way. So I usually just take something that's either eat a food that's fortified with vitamin D, or I take a supplement. Same with B12. It's too easy to take a supplement or to eat foods that are fortified with vitamin B12 and not have to worry about a deficiency. But make sure you follow your needs. Have faith that you're going to continue to succeed and get stronger. Keep in mind people that have been successful as vegans, and being a vegan has not hurt them at all in what they're trying to do. Set realistic expectations for yourself. Don't expect to deadlift 500 pounds after a year. You might. That's not impossible, but more than likely that's way too much to expect after 1 year of weight training. Follow a good program. Do something that makes sense. Follow something that's been tried and true for strength. Eat enough calories, or an adequate amount of calories for you and for where you're at right now. And keep a training log. Track what you do. And I hope you the best. If you have any other ideas about things that you've done that have been successful, go ahead and post them in the comments section below. I'd love to hear them, and I'm sure many other people would too. So good luck, happy training, and like and subscribe the video. Thank you.
Eat your fruits and veggies, or they will eat you.